Hey, everybody. We just made a plan backstage that when I was ready, I was supposed to wink, and I said I'm not very good at winking, but I tried. Okay, yeah, I just pointed at the eye and then squinted it. Anyway, hey, everybody, thanks for coming out this evening. And thanks to the Iowa Environmental Council for having me for their event. Excited to be trying to help do some good, and I released this record on August 31st, and then I realized I didn't book like a CD release show or anything, so, which is the way that I did everything. Like I picked the August 31st date before I had any songs. So I'm just doing it kind of backwards, inside out. But here's the song. This one's called Anchor. Lately I'm aware of the fact that you seem to have some kind of magnet. I'm caught in your field. It's like I was made out of steel. And I get a feeling the ship it's reeling, it's taking too much on board. I've got nothing to prove. I might as well move to your shore. And I lie in my bed, and I'm falling deeper. Everything's heavy like childhood fever. And then when you go, I'm sinking low like an anchor. Feeling the breeze before your eyes seize, and it's time to row the boat from the bay. You'll get torn into bits if the big storm hits and you stay. And I lie in my bed, and I'm falling deeper. Everything's heavy like childhood fever. And then when you go, I'm sinking low like an anchor. So batten the hatches and cover the matches and pray for our sins, 'cause we're headed for the breakers and the storm's moving in. And I lie in my bed, and I'm falling deeper. Everything's heavy like childhood fever. And then when you go, I'm sinking low like an anchor. And I lie in my bed, and I'm falling deeper. Everything's heavy like childhood fever. And then when you go, I'm sinking low like an anchor. And then when you go, I'm sinking low like an anchor. And then when you go, I'm sinking low like an anchor. And then when you go, I'm sinking low like an anchor. Thank you. That one is called Anchor. It's by a band named The Reels from Denver, Colorado, and we played a few shows with them, and I learned the song. They were around maybe a year or so, and now I feel like I've played the song more times than they have. But I'm happy actually to kind of help keep a song alive, you know, so. I'm just mostly doing songs off my new record tonight, and luckily the length of the record is pretty much the same as the length of the set, so that works out great. But this is a song off the new record, but it's also an old Nada's song called The Wolf, and I'm extra nervous to play it tonight because I don't want to point him out because he's incognito, but my Nada's bass player's here tonight, and so So I'm kind of nervous. I'm sure he's going to be judging my every note and word. So anyway, this is an old song called The Wolf, but I put it on this record because I've been out for the past, year and a half playing a lot of solo shows, mixed in with a few band shows here and there. And this is a song kind of about a guy on a stage by himself in the dark with a room full of strangers. Or it's a song about a wolf. All alone in the darkness, sing your howl song. Night air is as empty as the day is long. All alone in the darkness, you avoid the fire. You fear it'll pull you in, instinct or desire. Spend your time in the outside, you can see your breath. Sit down on your haunches and try to get some rest. All you need is some shelter, a place to sleep and a meal. Try again tomorrow for a better deal. And stare at the moon, sing your house song. Someday you will find somebody who will sing along. Stare at the moon, sing your house song. Someday you will find somebody who will sing along. Who? You follow tracks in the snow, made by whom you do not know. 'Cause you are alone here, and it's the loneliness you fear. And you walk with an empty belly for food you have not known. You walk with false knowledge for things not shown. You walk with these burdens, well, they must weigh you down. But you are the king of the free. Be proud and wear your crown. Stare at the moon, sing your house song. Someday you will find somebody who will sing along. Stare at the moon, sing your house song. Someday you will find somebody who will sing along. Who? Who? All alone in the darkness, sing your house song. Night air is as empty as her legs are long. All alone in the darkness, sing your house song. Someday you will find somebody who will sing along. Who? Thank you very much. How about another hand for Eleanor Grace for opening up the show tonight? I always get a little nervous following someone that's so solid and confident, and then in addition, she had great songs and a beautiful voice. And for a guy like me, I don't know what my voice is, but it's not beautiful, It's got a lot of miles on it. It's rough around the edges. So anyway, look forward to hearing her more in the future. And Eleanor, you have some stuff for sale back there, is that right? Yes? All right. Stock up. All right, this is a song called Landline, and I wrote this one after one of our trips this last year and a half in our camper van, driving around playing all over the country. We played one show on a cattle ranch in Montana in the middle of nowhere. The guy's name is Bill Donald, and it was on like Bill Donald Road, which was like 40 miles long. And we spent the night out in the prairie grass. Woke up in the morning, and he was out there with his cattle dog sitting on his four-wheeler, and he's like, want me to give you a tour of the land? And so we jumped on that and got in his truck, and he drove up on top of this butte, and he like pointed all around. He's like, all right, well, you see that mountain over there? Starts there, then you follow the landline around to this hillside here. And I was like, what do you mean landline? He's like, where the sky touches the ground on that landline? I'm like, oh, the horizon. You're telling me your land goes to the horizon. Got it. Anyway, inspired this song. Follow the landline as far as the eye can see. This is all mine, and it's part of me. Where the horizon breaks and the mountains rise, I can tell you how, I can tell you why. It's a big sky, it's a rolling hills, it's a wild ride with citrus pills. Keep your heart close, close to the earth. Dig your hands deep into the dirt. You can pass it by, you can pass it on. You can pass it by, you can pass it on. It's a sunrise, it's a harvest moon, it's a century farm with a scenic view. Keep your heart close, close to the earth. Dig your hands deep into the dirt. You can pass it by, or you can pass it on. Still be there when I'm gone. You can pass it by, you can pass it on. You can pass it by, or you can pass it on. Follow the landline as far as the eye can see. This is all mine, and it's part of me. Where the horizon breaks and the mountains rise, I can tell you how, I can tell you why. Thank you. I didn't write a set list. I typed it on my phone. That is a rookie mistake. So that trip out to Montana, we kept going. We went to Seattle, and we played along the way. Played in South Dakota, Montana, Seattle, and then on the way back, played a bunch. And before we left, I keep saying we. It's my wife, Emma, and I. She's in the front row. Yeah. We're a duo. I just do the playing and the singing, and she does the, driving and posting, and we do a lot. It's awkward now because the camera's pointing right at me. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going. We were planning that trip up to the Northwest and back, and we were sitting at the kitchen table, and I was kind of doing it old school with like a map and a pen and paper, and that kicked in some sort of like muscle memory. So then I grabbed a guitar and I wrote the song and mapped the route at the same time. It's a musician's version of multitasking, I guess. So this is Camper Van about that trip. 8 hours to the Black Hills Mountains, past the Turtle Buttes, and we're still counting the signs. To the Wall drugstore, playing stone face with Crazy Horse. 7 hours to Yellowstone, oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam. Gonna stand where Custer last stood, making my peace while knocking on wood. We're gonna drive our camper van, we're gonna cruise across the land on the road less traveled then. We're gonna drive our camper van. Only 45 miles and it's all 2 lanes across Idaho via Coeur d'Alene. On the way back home we'll take the southern route along the Snake River like you wanted to. 4 more hours to Puget Sound. Nephews growing by leaps and bounds. Stay a few days just to rest our bones. Stop in Oregon on the way back home. We're gonna drive our camper van. We're gonna cruise across the land on the road less traveled then. We're gonna drive our camper van. Blue highways, scenic roads and byways, Elliott Bay to 38, slow. Head south on the 101, stop in Forest Grove, let it come undone. Head back east to the Great Salt Lake, taking our time while there's time to take. 8 more hours to the Great Divide. It's all downhill, gonna let it slide. Stop at home just to wash our clothes, pack it up again and we hit the road. We're gonna drive our camper van. We're gonna cruise across the land on the road less traveled then. We're gonna drive our camper van. We're gonna cruise across the land on the road less traveled then. We're gonna drive our camper van. We're gonna drive our camper van. We're gonna drive our camper van. Thank you. We drove it. We're driving it. We've put 75,000 miles on it in the past year and a half. I know. But it's also our hotel. And it's our, kitchen, and it's great. I pretty much only come home because I have to mow the lawn sometimes. How's everybody feeling? Doing? Yes? I feel like this is not as collaborative as I'm used to. Has most everyone heard these? How many people have never heard me play before? Anyone? Just the sound guy. Doing great, man. Thank you. Okay, good. Well, that'll take some pressure off. Just got to check my set list. All right. I'll do this. It's a good life, and it's not for everyone. So big boats make choppy waters. We're baking in the sun. Sometimes it's a cool breeze, and sometimes it's a gale. Some days are calm and tranquil, some days funnel clouds and hail. And you can't write it out, you can't write it in. I'm waiting for this lake life to begin. You know, it will never be how it used to be. And all our sons and daughters are distant memories. And sometimes there are white-capped waves, sometimes it's smooth as glass, some days as blue as the wings of a jay, some days green as grass. And you can't write it out, you can't write it in. Waiting for this lake life to begin. You might get burned, you might get wet, sometimes it's frigid, sometimes it's heaven sent. Lake life, lake life, lake life, it's a good life, but it's not for everyone. Big boats make choppy waters, and we're baking in the sun. Thank you. I'll back announce that song. So that one's called Lake Life. I grew up spending my summers in Okoboji. Grandparents had a house there, and my parents live there now. And I decided I wanted to write like a summer lake party rock song. And then I sat down with a guitar and a piece of paper and a pen, and that's the song I wrote. But you just can't control it sometimes, you know? It was raining. Some people can control it. Some people are, professionals. All right. Oh, man. I don't think I can do it. I do this song called Boy in a Bubble. I was a boy in a bubble. I thought I was a boy in a bubble anyway. That's how my memories have formed for all these years. But I was 4. Turns out I was a boy in an oxygen tent temporarily. But then, like, sometime in the 80s, there was a John Travolta movie called Boy in a Bubble. And then I merged those memories with that fictional film, which was about a real person, which I also worked in some details in my memories. So anyway, when we were all sitting at home, quarantined and worried about like touching our own faces in our own homes, I hearkened back to being a boy in a bubble. Everything was safe. And again, I told myself I'm not going to write a COVID song. There's going to be plenty of COVID songs. And then it happened. I was a boy in a bubble. The world made me cough and wheeze. And the hospital staff would come running every time I sneezed. My mom and dad would come visit and reach through the tent with kid gloves. And I'd feel their touch in the warm embrace. Through the plastic walls I'd feel loved. And the boy in the bubble looked out on the scene and imagined a world that was just like his dreams, where the wind smelled like lilacs, on both sides the grass was still green. If the room was this empty, could anyone else hear the scream? And I was a boy in a bubble, but only for a month or two. And I'd lay there thinking that things could be worse, 'cause I had a room with a view and limitless bowls of ice cream were served to me on a tray. Vitamin D in abundance, even when the skies were gray. And the boy in the bubble looked out on the scene and imagined a world that was just like his dreams, where the wind smelled like lilacs, on both sides the grass was still green. And if the room was this empty, could anyone else hear the scream? These days I wonder how it's just not that fair, how death and destruction flow right through the air, how we pull all our handshakes, we mask all our fears, and we keep our distance and pretend it's not weird. And again I'm a boy in a bubble, sanitized and sheltered in place, and I spend my days with my hand held and try not to touch my face, which is harder than you'd imagine, 'cause I haven't shaved in weeks. So I spike a pose like a thinker and gently stroke my cheeks. And it's better to be safe than sorry, it's worse to be dead than alive. So I'll crawl back inside my bubble, and I'll do my best to survive. I recommend it. It's a safe place. Hospital food's pretty good when you're 4. Jell-O and ice cream. I played that song for my parents after I wrote it, and they didn't like it. Because they said that I wrote that line about how they would come visit me in the hospital, and my mom's like, I never left your side. I don't remember. I was John Travolta. All right, I'm going to do this song called Pocket Every Stone, which I wrote, and I liked it so much that I put it on the record twice. Don't ask why. I don't know. It's 2 different versions. It's not the same version in 2 different places. 2 totally different versions. Anyway, This is Emma and my first co-write. This is a song we wrote together. That's not true. We have an older song called Visitor that was a co-write too, right? You never got your credit for that one. Sorry. This is the first one I gave Emma credit for co-writing. I have a younger brother. Some of you know him. His name's Ben, and he's a shaman. And we went down and visited him on his farm. He was leaving for a vision quest. Undetermined amount of time, undetermined amount of miles, but he knew he was going out west, and he didn't have a vehicle, so we loaned him an old band van, and we took the keys down to his farm that he had in East Peru, Iowa. Oh, big East Peru fans. And I handed him the keys, and he reached in his pocket and he handed me a rock, and I was like, "You have rocks in your pockets?" And I was like, "What's this for?" And he said, "It's jasper for your trip. You need it for your van trip." And I was like, "Well, don't you need it for your van trip?" And he reached in his pockets and he pulled out 2 hands full of rocks. He's like, "No, I got all the rocks I need." And a lot of other weird stuff happened while we were standing there. His dogs ran up with a bunch of bones that they found. One was a jawbone of a deer, I think, and he took it up and he's like, "They say we're supposed to be wearing masks," and he held it up in front of his face with this bone from it. And he's like, "This is my mask." And so we left. We drove home, and on the way home, Emma said, "You should write a song about this." And I was like, I don't even know where to start. I don't think I can. Good idea, but I don't think I can. And so she's like, "Well, how about I just write down the conversation?" And so she wrote down the conversation, and I grabbed a guitar, and then came up with a song. This is called Pocket Every Stone. The short introduction is, it's a song for rock hounds and crystal gazers. Turquoise and jasper, rose quartz and gold, days they tumble faster, too young to be the soul. Amethyst and topaz, Apache tear and jade, keep these stones here in your pocket, follow the path they say. Dogs are mad today, another bone drug my way, hold it up to mask your face, they say. Probably found it in the ditch, no idea which is which, it'll do to scratch this itch, they say. And they say the past goes on forever, they say the future is unknown, except to those of us who stand together, except to those who pocket every stone. It's time to leave this land, maybe ride for another brand, turn the car, don't show your hand, they say. It's time to hit the road, it's time to lighten my load, it's time to leave this place, they say. And they say the past goes on forever, they say the future is unknown, except to those of us who stand together, except to those who pocket every stone. And the spirits, they do move you, and the rocks, they weigh you down, so you keep them in your pocket and try not to drown. Smoke them if you got them, stay still in quicksand, 'cause you can't hit rock bottom if you hold them in your hand.
And they say the past goes on forever. They say the future is unknown, except to those of us who stand together, except to those who pocket every stone. They say the past goes on forever. They say the future is unknown, except to those of us who stand together, except to those who pocket every stone, except to those who pocket every stone, except to those who pocket every stone.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice work, Emma. I was surprised when I started playing that song out how many people in the audience had rocks in their pockets. Anyone here tonight? There we go. Are there any shamans here tonight? Not yet. Well, that's the way it happened for Ben. He started out a fly fishing guide, and then he became a spiritual guide. He's on Instagram, Star Pilgrim 777. He can do tarot card readings through the Instagram if you want. We're on Instagram at FalcorVan. We'd love it if you'd follow our travels. And I did bring CDs here tonight, so pick one up on the way out. For those of you who don't have a CD player, which is 90% of you, I've been recently trying to source bulk wholesale CD players. I'm bringing them back. I found CD players that are Bluetooth, shock resistant, lithium batteries that last 4 days for $17. So I think I'm going to buy a truckload of them and give away a free CD for every CD player purchase. Changing the music business. All right, this is, I think, the last one I'm going to do off the record. This one's called Water in the Fuel. And I didn't write this song either. This one is a song that I've lived it. So I felt connected to it in a way that I thought I could put it on a record and perform it. If you drive a diesel vehicle and you get water in the fuel, either from contamination or condensation, it can be a catastrophic breakdown. I've had that several times. So this is by a guy named Fred Eaglesmith, and I've lived this song.
Darling, I've been coming down over route number 67. Just got off the turnpike, avoiding the Ohio State inspection. Johnny Love followed me up the road, then he turned back and he let me go. I guess this old truck ain't worth shutting down. And your voice last night on the telephone said you wouldn't be there when I get home. So when I get to Cleveland, gonna head back south. And the light keeps coming on. I've got water and the fuel, and my brakes are gone. I've got a left front tire that's throwing thread. By tomorrow morning I could be dead. Baby, maybe you've been right all along. Baby, maybe you've been right all along. You said you couldn't stay with the one who was always gone away, and all you wanted to do was to settle down. You wanted to buy that little trailer out on the edge with the money you were saving, with a carport and a color TV. no place to turn around, and the light keeps coming on. I've got water and the fuel, my brakes are gone. Got a left front tire that's throwing thread. By tomorrow morning I could be dead. Baby, maybe you've been right all along. Baby, maybe you've been right all along. Remember that winter when the lake froze over? We drove out there after we unloaded. We revved up, spun it round and round. Then we left it idle out on that ice. We crawled in the sleeper, I held you tight. Looks like we're on thin ice now. Looks like we're on thin ice now, and the light keeps coming on. I've got water and the fuel, my brakes are gone. I've got a left front tire that's throwing thread. By tomorrow morning I could be dead. Baby, maybe you've been right all along. Baby, maybe you've been right all along. Baby, maybe you've been right all along. Long, long.
Thank you very much. That's a Fred Eaglesmith tune. You guys are all so well behaved tonight. I know. Well, I was also trying to be very well behaved while I was playing the songs off the record because I have to concentrate more. But I'm happy now to play anything that you want to hear as long as I wrote it, remember it, want to play it. Okay. I'll do both those. They're kind of, no, they're not. They're not the same songs. They're different songs. All right, I'll start. I'm going to do them in that order. Thank you for participating. I'll start with this song called Alaska, which is another one I wrote for my brother. He's fully aware that I use him as a, fodder for songwriting material. I even have recently had a debrief with him about shamanism and whether or not I'm saying things right. And he's down with it. So, but this song Alaska, this was when he was a fishing guide in Alaska. Okay, it's a song about when he moved back to Iowa. It doesn't actually talk about Alaska much, but he was a fly fishing guide on Kodiak Island where there was a lot of bears, more bears than people, fishing for fish the people were fishing for, and seemed like a risky endeavor. So when he moved back to Iowa, I wrote him this song. I have recently added a new last verse, though. So I'll do the version with the new last verse, which is about my friend Steve Cannon. Some of you guys know him. When he did the Iditarod a couple of years ago on a fat bike, 1,000 miles, 40 below zero, snow, treachery. So, last verse is for Steve.
I've been lost and I've been found, inside out and upside down. right and wrong side of the tracks. Feels so good now to be back, to hear you say, welcome home, welcome home. It's good to see you, welcome home. And I've been here and I've been there, I've been almost everywhere. I've been near and I've been far, boats and planes and trains and cars, to hear you say, welcome home, welcome home. It's good to see you, welcome home. I can almost feel you breathe, like you're standing next to me. Lets me know that you're alive. So tell me what you need, and take this here from me, so I'll know that you're all right. I've been lost, cold and alone, 1,000 miles, Fairbanks to Nome, the Yukon River, the Rainy Pass, the Alaskan rain sure kicks your ass. Do you hear them say, welcome home, welcome home. It's good to see you, welcome home, welcome home, welcome home. It's good to see you, welcome home.
Thank you. All right, Daisy was the other request, huh? Daisy and Listen Through the Static. Well, we don't have all night. I promised people they'd get home for the news. All right, Daisy, this is a really old one. Thank you for the really old request. This is off of the Nada's first record, which we don't acknowledge that exists. It's not on iTunes or anything, I don't think. Well, it might be. I could totally be wrong. Anyway, this song's called Daisy, and yeah, there's no story at all. No story with this song. I can tell you I wrote it on the front porch of a guy named Paul Wright's house in Cedar Falls, Iowa, after ordering Chinese food from, what's that place, Emma? Thank you. That's it.
She loves me, she loves me not. She loves me, she loves me not. Just another pedal on the floor again. Where have you been? Just another pedal on the floor again. We can just be friends. I'll pick another daisy, pick another daisy. Take the time to think it over. You never think the same thing twice. I wish that you could make up your mind. It must be nice. Just another pedal on the floor again. Where have you been? Just another pedal on the floor again. We can just be friends. I'll pick another daisy, pick another daisy. Tell me now what's holding you back. I can see it in your tracks. My feelings are on the soles of your shoes. Now I've got those single guy blues. Single guy blues. I pick another daisy. I pick another daisy. Pick another daisy. Pick another daisy in the summertime. Pick another daisy. Pick another daisy in the meantime. Pick another daisy. I'll pick another daisy in the summertime. Pick another daisy. I'll pick another daisy in the meantime.
Thank you. I heard static. I'd like to do that one. I'd like to, I'll dedicate static, not to the requester, because that would, I mean, I should dedicate. Who requested that song? Yeah. Catherine. Thank you for requesting a song. I'd like to dedicate it to you. And I'd like to dedicate it to John Stenberg, who took over my slot on the KFMG Iowa Homegrown radio show about 6 months ago. Kicking butt. You're doing so much better than I ever did, including like the showing up part, which I was horrible at. But, okay. Emma and I went for a bike ride with John one day, and we were sitting down having some brunch, and I looked at my watch, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be on the radio right now. And that's when I got fired from my volunteer radio job. But luckily, John was interested. They had an opening, and he stepped in. So this song is about low-power FM radio and how hard you used to have to work to listen to, interesting music on the radio. It's probably still the case. I don't know. But used to listen to KFMG when it was 103.3 KFMG. And I played all this stuff that taught me how to write songs, really. And then it became a low power station and had a little even more freedom, and it was a lot of fun. And I also used to, when I lived in Ames, I used to drive outside of Ames so that I could listen to KUNI. Because at the time, for some reason, in Ames you couldn't, but if you just got out of town a little ways, you could. So that inspired this song. It's called Listen Through the Static.
I drive, traffic fight, and I can't find a frequency to clear my mind. Bought and paid for every hour on the hour. I scan the horizon for a radio tower, and I listen through the static, and I listen through the static, and I drive, tune the dial every mile, search for a sound that'll suit my style. Is it there? Through the air, getting nearer. Signals thin, closing in. It's coming in clearer. And I listen through the static. And I listen through the static. And I drive through the night and I can't find a frequency to change my mind. Hear the buzz flicker bright, stereo light. Play my song and get me through the night. And I listen through the static. And I listen through the static. And I listen through the static. And I listen through the static.
Thank you. Speaking of institutions that support independent and local music in our town, let's hear it for XBK, for weathering the storm, for creating this atmosphere, for working around all the crazy things we have to work around, and for providing a place like this. So thank you, XBK. Thanks for having me and hosting this event here tonight. I'm going to be back here in December with a couple of other songwriters. We're just going to take turns playing songs. I'm really excited about that. Joel Sires is one from the band Twins. And then a yet-to-be-announced third legendary songwriter. Still working out the details. Don't even try to get me to tell you. All right, you guys, I'm going to do a couple more. And then it looks like I have time for one more, but can I do a couple more? Let's see. All right, I've kind of been bringing this one back. I'll do this one, and then while I'm playing this one, I'll think of what the last one's going to be. But
restore my sight. I've been blinded almost daily, 'cause I watch too much TV. My mind wanders down the one ways laid before me, and I've forgotten what I've seen. Here's my revelation. I'm all right when you're right beside me. Nothing left to decide, 'cause this life becomes me. Morning light, it's enough to wake the dead, but my horizon's darkening. No Pulitzer Prize, but I am this month's best employee, and I earned rockstar parking.
you see the band?
Here's my revelation. I'm all right when you're right beside me. Nothing left to decide, 'cause this life becomes me. I'm all right when you're right beside me. Nothing left to decide, 'cause this life becomes me. I'm all right. I'm all right, 'cause this life becomes me. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's like my own pep talk for myself. Well, thank you guys for coming out, taking the time out of your Tuesday. Thanks for supporting the Iowa Environmental Council. And XVK, they have a lot of great stuff coming up. So just keep your butts in the seats here, and we'll have places like this. It's a team effort. I'm just going to end with a sing-along, like a boot scootin' sing-along.
I hear the train a-comin', and it's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, time keeps dragging on, and that train, it keeps a-moving on down to San Antone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy and don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. And that train, it keeps a-moving. I hang my head and cry. There's probably rich folks eating in those fancy dining cars, probably drinking coffee, smoking big cigars. And I know I had it coming, I know I can be free. And that train, it keeps a-moving, that's what tortures me. They freed me from this prison, that railroad train was mine. Guess I'd move it all a little farther down the line, far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. And I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. I hear the train coming, it's rolling round the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. And I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, time keeps dragging on, and that train, it keeps a-moving on down to San Antone. And that train, it keeps a-moving on down to San Antone. And that train, it keeps a-moving on down to San Antone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Gabe.